Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is, I hope whatever you're doing, you're having a fantastic time. But as you know, we are supporters of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and these fantastic photos. Obviously, we all know that they have been in Vancouver the last couple of days. And, there have been pictures everywhere that they are just popping up in places that nobody knows that they're going to be there. They just pop up. And I love how they do it. So all faves are having a great time in Vancouver promoting Invictus Games 2025. As we know, there's going to be the hybrid game of the snow sports and also the regular games like, sitting volleyball and sitting wheelchair basketball and all those that we love. They're also going to be doing some skiing and I guess snowboarding and all that wonderful stuff that's also going to be part of the game. So they are out there looking at the sites, looking at the venues, promoting the games and all of that. So we're going to talk about that in a second, but we just saw this photo popped up today. I have no idea. Maybe it was in a restaurant or something that Harry and Meghan were. I literally just saw the photo, put it in here and jumped on. So I don't even know who the lady is, and the little kid in the front looks amazing. Like, yeah! Smiling with Harry and Meghan. So they look like they're having fun. I am assuming they're spending Thanksgiving in Vancouver, Lord willing. I don't know if they'll be back. Obviously, we don't know their plans. They just pop up in places. So since that, Thanksgiving is tomorrow, I would assume that they are probably going to be spending their Thanksgiving there in Vancouver or somewhere in Canada or something. I don't know. But I love this photo of them. And obviously that's one of Meghan's besties, Marcus, with her and Harry. And I'm assuming now Harry's bestie as well. I mean, they've been all friends for so long that, I could literally say they're all besties now. So, but we have had such a great time the last couple of days, just really enjoying their visit as they visit. Obviously, we had no idea that they were going to be in Vancouver. But again, last year, we know that September, they popped up in Germany, in Dusseldorf, to bring in the 1 year too. So they are in Vancouver a little bit outside of a year because, again, this is very different from the other games in the sense that they're going to be two sites, one in Vancouver and then one in Whistler. So it's a little bit different. Logistics are a little bit different. It's a lot more than normal. So I could see them going there to check out the sites, make sure that, everything is on the up and up and they have a handle on everything. And so it's really wonderful. So it was really great to see this a couple days ago. Invictus Whistler, they are so awesome. 2025 says, we are honored to host senior members of the Invictus Games Foundation, including Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex in Vancouver and Whistler this week to visit venues as we focus on delivering the first ever winter sports program at the Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler 2025. And so obviously some awesome photos of Harry up there in the mountains. And Invictus Games Foundation also tweeted, it says, we are delighted to be joined by our patron in Canada to observe the preparations for the upcoming winter hybrid Invictus 2025. So they look like they are having a wonderful, wonderful time out there in the entire Invictus leadership and also the teams on the ground in Canada who are prepping for the games. And according to those in Whistler, they're like, we're ready. We are ready. We are ready to see it coming. And they are all excited to know Harry and Meghan's presence have really had this major excitement happening there all around. And we'll talk about that in a second. But Whistler Adaptive Sports, they posted this. It says, in 2011, Whistler Adaptive Sports Program opened the Jeff Harbers Adaptive Sports Center, a dedicated space that houses our adaptive snow sports equipment and provide an essential base for our athletes and coaches during winter programs. This week, Invictus Games 2025 introduced their founder and patron, the Duke of Sussex, to our facilities as the team makes preparation to host the 9-day biannual multinational adaptive sporting competition from the 8th to the 16th of February 2025. We are excited to welcome the Invictus community to Whistler and share our incredible adapted adventure playground for the first Winter Hybrid Games. WAS, or Wounded and Injured Servicemen, operates on the unceded territory of these Little Nation and all the other names that I can't pronounce, Musqueam, Squamish, and all these are all the names that are part of the Invictus community, or at least the veteran community there, the First Nation community there in Canada. So they are definitely well into, I mean, they have been doing this since before the Dusseldorf games. They have been really on it and on the go with these games. So it's really wonderful to see. It's really wonderful to see how far they've come, and they are ready to go. So anyway, a little bit more about it. Forces.net wrote about it. These are some, bigger pictures of the same ones you saw a minute ago. They wrote about it. It says the Duke of Sussex has visited a number of venues in Canada as the nation gets ready to host the first ever winter sports event in Invictus Games history. Joined by other senior members of the Invictus Games Foundation, the Prince Harry visited some of the locations where the winter sports will be held during the Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler in February 2025. In a further show of support for the winter sports, Prince Harry and his wife, the Duchess of Sussex, also made a surprise visit to the National Hockey League game on Monday night with Vancouver Canucks, who were playing the San Jose Sharks. The match was played at the Rogers Arena in Vancouver, which will host the closing ceremony of the Invictus Games in 2025. So again, Harry and Meghan weren't just there just to see the games, which they both loved, but that will be where the closing ceremony will be. The world-renowned ski resort of Whistler will be at the center of the winter sports program at the Invictus Games in 2025, with events including alpine skiing, Nordic skiing, skeleton, and wheelchair curling. Vancouver, which is more than 100 kilometers south of Whistler, will feature other sports seen at previous Invictus Games, such as sitting volleyball, wheelchair basketball, and more. So very exciting. Very, very, very exciting. And I love these pictures so much. I just love this. Prince Harry dropping the puck, and Harry is so not a and I guess I'm not really paying much attention to hockey. He's not a hockey guy. And so it's very funny. The two captains, the one for the Vancouver team and the San Jose Sharks team, they said like Harry didn't know to drop the puck. They had to tell him, okay, drop the puck now. Because he's not. Meghan is a hockey fan, not Harry. So it was very funny. But I love that picture, and it's so wild that here he is doing this same teams, and the same teams played when Queen Betty, back in the day, Queen Betty was in Vancouver, same teams playing, and Queen Betty dropping the puck for the teams. I just thought it was just a cute picture, and it's just so great. No matter what I think of Queen Betty, that's Harry's love. He loves his grandma. And it's just great to see him and her doing the same thing for the same teams. It's wonderful to see. And here they are. This news outlet was saying the same thing. It says Prince Harry drops the puck during a ceremonial face-off with Quinn Hughes, number 43 of Vancouver Canucks, and Thomas Herr, number 48 from the San Jose Sharks, prior to the NHL game, basically. And the Queen dropping the puck in 2000 when the same teams played on her Golden Jubilee tour. So it's really cool to see Prince Harry doing, and it's really wild how Prince Harry followed the two women that were most important in his life, in his royal life. How his life just is mirroring theirs, whether it's him walking the path of Princess Diana when they were in Angola with the landmines, and walking that path, the same path that his mom walked. And here he is doing the same thing as the Queen. And it's really uncanny to see the two women, and notice that he's not really imitating much of Prince Charles. I mean, maybe a little bit of the environmental stuff, he got that from Charles, but actively imitating or walking the path that they walk. And it's really, really cool to see. Again, whatever you think Queen Betty and whatever I think of Queen Betty, I'm not a fan of Queen Betty, but Prince Harry, he loves her, and it's wonderful to see. That's his grandma, and that's who he loves, and there you go. And it's funny. Not only that, you see the same thing with him and walking the path she walked, and at the UN, she spoke at the UN. Whenever she did it, I should have looked up the date, but I didn't. And then we saw Harry a couple of years ago also speaking at the UN for Nelson Mandela's birthday, standing at the same podium. And it's really wild because I started thinking about it, and I know like a couple of squatty sort of alerted us to that, like, wow, Harry is literally following the path of his grandmother. And it's really interesting because all of this time we've been hearing that William is the one that's been trained from the time he was a little boy. He's been trained to imitate his grandmother and follow in her footsteps and do the things that she does. And he's been trained like this for his entire life. Yet I don't see William walking in Queen Betty's steps. The person who has been walking in her footsteps has been Harry. William's mom, before she passed, Diana, raised him with an understanding of his royalty and all of that stuff. She raised him that way. Yet Harry is the one who's been, yes, he's followed her with the homeless stuff, whatever. Yes, but there are active things that Harry does that people just connects with Princess Diana. And it's like they're so similar. And it's the same thing here. It's like, wow, you look at the path that Harry has taken, is just like, oh, wow. And not that, there are things about Queen Betty that's like, you don't want to be imitating, but, when you look at stuff like this, it's like, wow, it looks like Harry is the one instead of William following in her footsteps. And so it's very interesting in terms of international relations, in terms of their prominence on the world stage in terms of like this, speaking at the UN, dropping the puck in the same place in Vancouver, and again with the same teams. And it's just wild. It's really wild. But it's beautiful to see, again, very beautiful to see that it's Harry who has been the one. I was like, Harry's the king here. He's the one who seemed to have gotten the message. And it's so funny. I love this because the press has been really on about it, and they have caught on to just Harry, his role and how his life is imitating his grandmother. And as you can see, Alex, who posted this photo, and I really like this, a photo of the physical newspapers, like just like Granny, Harry starring, wherever it says at the end, it sort of cut off, but it's just, again, is with Harry and Queen, and the Queen doing the same thing. And so, and again with the same teams, it's so wild. I'm like, how did that happen? That is the same teams playing. And it's just like, that is wild, very, very cool. And Vancouver Canucks, they have been all over this. They're tweeting about this. There are podcasts and news outlets all over, so excited about Harry and Meghan in Vancouver. Vancouver Canucks, who is the team, and that was their home team there in Vancouver, says, last night, Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, dropped the ceremonial puck 20 years after his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, did the honors, both against the Sharks. Both resulted in wins. See, Harry and Queen Betty both gave the Canucks a win. I will count it up to their presence, giving the Canucks a win. So, but I thought it was cute, and I saw the video of the Queen. And again, I'm not a fan of Queen Betty, but it was actually kind of cute watching her come out there on the ice and dropping the puck. And you can see how it was so foreign to her, but she was game to it. She was game to coming out there and doing it. And it was her Jubilee thing, celebrating it. So it was actually a little bit cute. So I was like, oh, okay. Again, I'm not a fan, but it was actually a cute moment. Even I could admit, like, okay, that was cute. So, but it's, again, Harry loves her, and I'm sure it meant a lot to him to be able to follow in her footsteps, because, again, he respects her. Is probably the only person in that family that Harry has 100% respect for is Queen Betty. And, I'm sure he's really happy to follow in her footsteps. And this is very interesting because poor San Jose Sharks. San Jose Sharks had this idea. They're like, and that's the other team there. Says, glad to see the family still supporting SJ Sharks after all these years. So as you can see in the photo, when Diana, Harry, and William to see a San Jose Sharks team. And there is William with the hat. Harry didn't have the hat, but he had the they went to I guess support the Sharks. And so the Sharks were simply assuming that Harry and Meghan were supporting them. But that's okay. That's okay. But it's really funny how this whole thing is just this circle that you're like, oh wait, they have a history with these teams. And so they posted this. And so these are a couple of the responses. No way, just had this knowledge on deck. And San Jose Sharks team says, there are some facts you just don't forget. And the other person was like, Harry, #Harry. And the other person was like, they know royalty when they see it. But it's so funny that they just assume that, Harry and Meghan were there and they were supporting them because Diana supported them. And so it's just very funny. But there again, so many people have been writing. There's so many articles written about this, but this just really highlights just the impact Harry and Meghan have on the Invictus Games, how when they are there, everybody's just so excited. Everyone just like all of a sudden it's like, okay, we want to do this because they just bring so much magic to this. And I'm just going to move my banner so that I can read the whole thing. And then again, if you are new here and you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. What are you waiting for? Click the notification bell so you know when we drop a video. And like and share the video, please. Thank you. And join the channel. That would be awesome too. So anyway, we'll put that back later. Says, so Global BC, which is British Columbia, says the Invictus Games CEO says nearly 100 people signed up to volunteer for the 2025 sporting event after Prince Harry surprise puck drop at the Vancouver Canucks game Monday night. And if you've seen the videos, it was a whole thing when Harry came out, was a whole thing also. It was about the puck drop, but it was about advertising the Invictus Games because they introduced them as the founder and patron of Invictus Games, and they talked about the games and what it's about. So it was a whole big advertisement for the Invictus Games, getting people in Vancouver excited about it if they weren't already. It says Vancouver Canucks fans were met with a royal surprise Monday night with unexpected appearance of Prince Harry for the game ceremonial puck drop. Harry and his wife Meghan Markle, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, are in town for several days on a promotion and inspection tour in the lead up to the Invictus Games set for February 2025 in Vancouver and Whistler. The Duke and Duchess, they are so hands-on and really want to be a major part of the games, especially the planning. Invictus Games board member and Squamish Nation Council Wilson Williams told Global News. Williams shared a box with the couple on Monday night's Canucks tilt with the San Jose Sharks and said the pair really loved the vibe. But he said that the appearance real value was in helping build momentum for the games as the clock nears the 1-year countdown. You can feel the energy in the building at the moment, he said. The community the community of Canada is going to really get on board now, especially with them visiting. But being right on live television and really promoting the games and having Harry drop the puck as well. The appearance appears to have already paid dividends, according to Invictus Games CEO Dominic Reed, who is also in Vancouver for the preparatory visit. Just since last night, since the Canucks games, 98 people have registered for the volunteer program. And so, I mean, that's the effect of Harry and Meghan. They're there. People want to come and be part of it. And that's why he's there. He's a patron of it, the face of it, of course. When they are there, people get excited. And so I am just really happy for the games. as more and more people sign up again with the two different venues, it'll be, it'll take a lot to get, to get it going. And I love the fact that Harry and Meghan, as with everything they do, they are so hands-on with everything. And so, yeah, of course, they'd want to be there underground, being a part of the planning, doing all of that stuff. So wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So I'm excited. Yes, it's a year and something out, but hey, get the excitement started right away. So again, if you're interested in going in volunteering for the games, definitely check out the Invictus Games. They will have like Invictus Games of Vancouver Whistler. They'll have a volunteer sign up sheet there. So definitely, if you're interested, go sign up and be a volunteer. And these are some of the pictures, of course, the Canucks were sharing. This was part of a video of them, just, I think this either right before or right after Harry was dropped the puck. And also there's a video of them walking, I guess, to their seats or something. But this was all shared by the Vancouver Canucks. So they really worked with Invictus Game to do this real cool Invictus promo. It says, tonight, Prince Harry and the Duke of Sussex and Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, joined us at the arena to celebrate Invictus Games coming to Vancouver and Whistler February 25th. So thank you, Vancouver Canucks, who are there. They're so excited. And the one thing about it is that all their players they've been interviewed about it, and they were so excited to meet Harry and Meghan. They can't, and especially those who were on the ice, like their captains, they were like, wow, one of them like, yeah, I fist bumped him. I wasn't even sure I was supposed to do that. They were so excited to meet. Even I think he looked like the coach also. They were just so excited to have them. And then you think of the reverse of that when the others were in Boston, when the players were like, yeah, we don't know them. They were booed. And then the players behaved like they didn't even know them or want to even know who they are when they were interviewed. And it was such a different vibe with Harry and Meghan and the players of the Vancouver Canucks and stuff who they interviewed. So yeah, it was, hey, really go Harry and Meghan, do their thing. And again, they just pop up. We don't know. Here are some more photos of Harry and Meghan. I think it looked like when they had just winning. This was actually part of the videos of them jumping up and cheering on the Canucks. Actually, they were cheering for the Canucks. And also they were on the Jumbotron. And you can see Harry and Meghan there, and this guy on the left in the red is he has on the I Am Invictus, so I think he's part of the Invictus team that were there visiting as well. And these are just some more photos of Harry and Meghan and Marcus and all their friends, and I think just enjoying the games, just being excited about the games. And again, this is where the closing ceremony for Invictus is going to be. So I'm sure they were looking around the facilities and be shown around the facilities and just enjoying the atmosphere there. So very exciting. So very, very, very exciting. And it's so funny because there were so many people that did not realize, and like I saw the picture on the left before, and but I wasn't really focused on it, and I didn't focus on what team it is, that the team that they went to see. But as it says, hockey night with my sweetheart Heather Dorak. What would I do without this gal? Heather to the rescue, Vancouver hockey, the Canucks, hashtagging all of those. And so back in 2015, as you can see the highlight, December 6, 2015, long before she met Harry, that here she was at the Vancouver Canucks game supporting the Canucks. So Meghan has been a fan of the Canucks long before this. And these are also two photos of them at the Canucks games. One, you can see the Rangers, which is a New York Rangers t-shirt in the back there. So I'm assuming they were probably playing the Rangers then. And here's her and Heather again. So it seems that her and Heather are they're hockey fans going off to see hockey. These are 3 different times. Both of them are there at a hockey game. So it just, I was like, oh, it's good to have a friend going to games with you. So Meghan has been a fan. So I'm assuming she had a grand old time and wonderful memories from being there. And I guess news outlets are just catching on to, like, this isn't new for Meghan. She's been there before, long before Harry. Obviously, we know that Meghan lived in Canada for 7 years doing suits. So again, long before Harry. But this was my post of the night. I love this. Kaja, I guess a very big hockey fan, says, and she is Team Vancouver. She says, if this team loses in front of Meghan Markle and the son of Princess Diana, I will never forgive them. And I just love that. I love that. It's like they better not lose in front of Meghan Markle and the son of Princess Diana. And I love the shade too. Not Prince Charles, but Princess Diana. It's Princess Diana who means the most. And then her people responding saying, yeah, the better son of Princess Diana. And she's like, real. And another person like, please God, let our team win. It meant so much to them that Harry and Meghan were there that they just couldn't bear to lose in front of them. She's like, please God, let our team win. I just thought this was just the most special post. I love it. I love their hearts so much. It's like, if this team loses in front of Meghan Markle and the son of Princess Diana, I'll never forgive them. It would be the biggest horror to lose in front of Meghan and Princess Diana's son. I love it. I absolutely love them. So it's just been a wonderful time. And I guess, the first photo that we saw, it seems Meghan and Harry are still in Vancouver. They said they're hosting them for the week. So that's why I assume that they're going to be spending Thanksgiving there. Maybe their whole family is in Vancouver spending the time and Thanksgiving there. So, but if they are and are spending Thanksgiving there, just want to wish them and their family a wonderful Thanksgiving. That's going to be actually an American Thanksgiving. It's going to be tomorrow. So all Americans will be eating turkey or the like tomorrow. So, and wishing all of you happy Thanksgiving as well. So our faves, whatever they're doing, whether they're back home in Montecito or in Canada, wishing them a wonderful Thanksgiving. So anyways, moving on, real life still is happening. And one of the things, I've talked a lot here about just the horror of what the Palestinian people are facing, just the horror of watching Israel just murder people with impunity, with the help of the United States and other Western allies. And one of the things that has come out of all of this is, for me, in spite of all that horror, in spite of the unjust way that they have been treated, in spite of just the devastation and then the pain and the destruction that has been wreaked on these people, one of the things that and many things actually I could say that about the Palestinian people that has been shining through is their humanity, their love, their empathy, their love for one another. How these are people who would see a building just bombed, and instead of everybody running away, they run towards the building to to find anybody that's alive, to pull them out of the rubble, digging with their bare hands because they don't have equipment. They don't have the heavy equipment to dig through to find people who were alive. And out there in the rubble, men. And one of the other things that I've seen is how the men step up for their wives and their children. In so many situations, you see the men are the ones going and cuddling the children and comforting them, whether it's in the hospitals, and you see the doctors there just taking care. The men in Palestine have been so impressive to me. Everybody have their different culture and how things work, but it's been amazing to watch them be so compassionate and such caretakers. And you would see a group of kids there and everybody's afraid, and you see someone, whether it's someone from the press or a teacher or whatever, and a lot of times are the men that are there. They try to entertain the kids to help them to have feel some kind of love or care or whatever, and how they protect the women and how they protect the babies. And it's just been amazing to see these people who, in a lot of ways, Israel have been treating as if they're animals and want to spread this narrative that they are not worthy, that they're not human beings. Because in order for them to kill as they have been doing, they have to see them as not human. And instead, what has come out for me is the humanity the love, their family. I mean, to see how they support each other and to see men embracing each other and crying together and comforting each other. It has just been an amazing, eye-opening thing. And also to see the resilience, to see the joy of them when they got, they have no water. And to see the joy of them when rain started falling and rain started coming down from their tents, because now they're bombed out of their house and they live in tents. And there's puddles everywhere and they're sort of living in the puddles. And it's just crazy. But to see the joy of grown men to get rainwater that's pouring out of the tent so they can drink. It is just like the joy of men and women celebrating because they have a piece of bread to eat. And to see them improvise, building, using the stones, and I think it looked like a little oil can to make a fire so they can bake bread. It has just been an amazing thing. And to see the resilience of the men and the women and the children of Palestine has been like, wow, I admire them so much. I didn't really know much about Palestinian people before this. I never really paid as much attention, as to how they were as people and how they related to each other. But to see the families and how they embrace each other and come together and just support each other. And you'd see babies who've lost their whole family and someone else should just take them up as their own. And it's just like, wow. So these people, for me, I have been so impressed by the Palestinian people. And these women, their homes got bombed out. And they're like, well, we're not leaving. And there they are, as you can see in the photo. As it says, despite the destruction of our home, my baby, we refuse to leave. And we are clinging to life. And you look at their bombed out home. They figured out how to, put a mattress there. They figured out how to get their clothes washed and hang it under the broken down home, as you can see. They are not leaving. You can see the other part. They're trying to do law. I mean, it's just, and this gentleman, this baby, has lost his parents, and there he is holding this is the kind of things that has been so amazing to me to watch these people. And I'm like, they deserve so much more. They deserve to be in a situation, in a place that is safe. They deserve to have neighbors who are loving people. They don't deserve to be in a situation where they have to live next door to Zionists. I cannot even. These people, please pray for them. Please pray that this ends and it ends quickly. I know starting today, there's going to be a 4-day ceasefire, or at least a pause, where hostages are going to be released on both sides. It is really sickening how the Western media talks about this, like, oh, Hamas is releasing hostages, while Palestinians are, Israel is going to be releasing prisoners. And yes, they're prisoners, but they're also hostages. If you're going to be talking about hostages, because it's such a bigger thing, like they're held hostage. Meanwhile, Israel has held 2.5 million people, Palestinian people, in a hostage in the open air concentration camp for the last 17 years, and people don't speak about it in that way. And it's like, oh my gosh, the hostages are going to release from Hamas, but it's like Israel has thousands of children that they've held hostage for years, and nobody has said a word, and only people care is because now Hamas has hostages. And so they're going to be the 4-day period of supposed ceasefire, but Israel has not ceased any fire. They're still going about killing people. They're still doing it. Even though, as Spectator says, Israel government approve a 4-day ceasefire and release of 150 Palestinian prisoners. I think what they're going to be releasing, some women and children, in exchange for 50 hostages. So Hamas is releasing 50 hostages. Israel is going to be releasing 150 Palestinian prisoners. A lot of them children. They have been adopting children, which is not to say that Israelis tomorrow are not going to be abducting those same children or other children. This is how they operate. And it just, I don't know what this is. I am at a loss a lot of times when I think of Israel. I'm at a loss as to how people could be as evil as they are. I don't. And this is not all Israeli. Be very specific. There are a lot of people in Israel that do not agree with the Israeli government and the Zionists of Israel and their way of thinking and the way of being. There are a lot of people in Israel, there are a lot of Jewish people that don't agree with any of this. So I'm not talking about those people, but I'm just talking about Zionists and the Israeli government and what they are doing. Like there was this, I was even saw a video today of this Israeli man who literally has been trying to help people because the narrative in Israel is a lot is trying to basically brainwash people into believing that Arabs and Palestinians are subhuman, that they're not human, so if they're okay to kill them. And he has been like trying to share with people the humanity and show people the humanity. The Israeli military or the Israeli police actually locked him up for like I guess almost a week and was interrogating him and all of that stuff. Because he was doing that. So a lot of people, I mean, there are people protesting against the Netanyahu government. So a lot of them are not buying into it. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the ideology of the Israeli government and their supporters. That's who I'm talking about here. And as you can see, even in the US and around the world, there are Jewish people who do not agree with us and they support the Palestinian people and they support them being free. So but anyways, in South Africa, there's more stuff happening around the world apart from this 4-day ceasefire. It says South Africa Parliament has voted to resolve to close the Israeli embassy and cut diplomatic ties. MPs also voted to suspend Israel's ambassador to South Africa. Parliament says measures will be in place until Israel agrees to a ceasefire, which is a permanent ceasefire, I'm assuming, and participates in unfacilitated negotiations, which is, I guess negotiating a two-state settlement. And also, Saudi Arabia Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, yes, that notorious one, urged all nations during the extraordinary BRICS summit on Tuesday to cease weapon exports to Israel. Now, these people have not exactly come to the aid, really, of the Palestinian people. They have been mostly silent. But they all had a BRICS meeting in South Africa, I guess, and at least South Africa chaired it, where they all basically condemned Israel. They've condemned what they've done. They've also want them to be investigated by the International Crime Court, whatever. So they've put it out there, their feelings and their thinking about what Israel has been doing. And that includes China as well, which is very interesting. And it feels like there's a new superpower, how the US is part of this superpower, the Western superpower. So it feels like these nations coming together with China and South Africa and Saudi Arabia and stuff, which I don't really trust Saudi Arabia very much, but they seem to be coming together to form a different superpower. It's kind of a way. So we'll see what's going to be happening on the world stage. But and also Declassified is reporting that Scotland's First Minister, Hamza Yousaf, has written to the UK government urging it to back the ICC investigation into war crimes in Gaza. No country, Israel including, has the right to ignore international humanitarian law, Hamza says. And so more stuff is happening slowly. Again, there's a 4-day ceasefire. Whether Israel would uphold that or not, who knows? There is also an article right now going around social media about the U.S. talking about the ceasefire. They were hesitant of the ceasefire because they didn't want Western reporters going in there and reporting about, the devastation in Gaza and what Israel has done. So they don't want, quote unquote, they don't want the tide to turn on Israel. I'm sorry, y'all, but somebody here has not been paying attention, in the sense that the world knows what Israel is doing. So there's no tide to turn. We all know. That's why every country just about has been protesting against Israel. We're not blind to what they're doing. We see them. We see what they're doing. And so, and of course, the incredible men and women in reporters and others in Gaza who has literally put their lives on the line, and almost 60 of them now targeted and killed by Israel. And still last night, one of them was being targeted literally he was tweeting like, I'm hearing they have like helicopters and stuff right around the square, and it seems like they were trying to target him last night. And so they're putting their lives on the line to show us the facts about what is happening on the ground without Western media filter. And so I don't know what y'all are thinking, but we know. And that's why people have been protesting around the world against what Israel has been doing. So we'll see how this 4-day ceasefire, again, that hasn't started, because last night Israel was still doing what they were doing. So there you go. Anyways, this talk about the Palestinian people. One of the other things that I noticed about them is their love of cats. That in spite of all that is happening with them, to see these kids and men and women, just their cats are like part of their family, obviously. And just to see, there was this one video of this guy with this cat, who the cat was literally clinging on to his shirt. And he would be talking and using his hands, and the cat holding on to his shirt for their life. And just seeing this, the gentleness that inspired. This is that up there was a little boy in the hospital, I guess he was, dirty and all of that stuff, but protecting his little cat. The same thing with this little girl in the red on the right, and the little girl at the bottom. She, family had to pack up and leave right away in Gaza, taking her cat with her. And this is Motaz. He is one of the reporters that you can see. It's actually, he has on a vest, the press vest, and he is one of them that they were trying to target and have been trying to target to take out, as they've taken out and killed 60 of them. And so he has been been one of the great resources of just, he's a photojournalist and of sharing what has been happening. And so if you're on Twitter or X, definitely follow him. It's Motaz, and pray for him, pray for his safety, because they are definitely targeting him. As they, yesterday, reporters from Jordan, they killed them yesterday. And so it's really crazy that this is happening, and Western journalists have not been speaking out. They have not been there, any outrage from them at all about their colleagues who are literally targeted. It's not even a mistake. They're literally targeting them. And so to see Western journalists just stay here and spouting the lies and the misinformation and coddling what Israel is doing while they're targeting their colleagues is unbelievable to me. Please pray for them. But again, this is it's just things that I've picked up with the people of Gaza, especially. So anyways, moving on. This happened yesterday, back to our faves, and it's just, we remember this, Meghan visiting this group, in 2019 when they were in Vancouver, when they were staying on Vancouver Island. Meghan went over to Vancouver and was hanging out with this group, and yesterday she visited them again. And so it was just, again, they just pop up. They pop up when we don't know where they are, but it's, again, this is no surprise. She did this before. Again, Harry was in the UK doing, I guess, taking care of that Sandringham summit when Meghan took a flight over to Vancouver and was meeting with this group. And this is what they said. Justice for Girls says, Justice for Girls was delighted to have a return visit from Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, joined by Jessica Lake and Laurie Thompson from the Lake Family All One Fund. We had an engaging and heartfelt conversation about justice and equality for teen girls living in poverty in Canada and around the world. Together with our teen intern staff, directors, and board members, we talked about the Justice for Girls' decades of work advocating for girls' access to freedom from violence, Indigenous rights, and environmental justice. A highlight of our conversation was the focus on girls and young women's leadership. The feminist advocate from a young age herself, the Duchess was keen to chat with two of our teen interns to discuss their personal struggle for justice. Her genuine and understanding approach left the girls feeling heard, supported, and inspired. And we hear that every time Meghan is meeting with girls, and it's again, anyone who has met them say the same thing about them. And of course, this was Meghan visiting them in 2019. And so we remember this. when they had run away from the royal family. Actually, they were there for that Christmas, and they obviously stayed there in Vancouver Island until they came to the U.S. But this was their visit. This was Meghan's visit 4 years ago. Fave. And finally, I love it when reporters tell on themselves. We've talked about this forever. Richard Palmer. I think Richard is going through a moment. I know Reach, which is the parent company of the Express, which is where Richard Palmer is a royal hack for. They are going through some things and they're laying off people. So maybe Richard is probably feeling the heat and is finally decided to tell the truth about things. And so I don't know what AYT and abate is. I'm not sure what that means, but it says, and being ate and bait is what it's all about. Not sure what that is, but it says, don't trust desk-based journalists churning out numerous stories per day filled with reportedly, it was reported, it was claimed. We all do it occasionally, but it generally means the reporter hasn't checked the facts. And we've talked about this numerous times with all those royal articles and reporters. It's been reported, it's reportedly, it was claimed, it is understood, and all of those things. Sources said, or sources close to this person said. All of these nonsense is they haven't checked facts. They don't know anything, and they put those things there to make it seem like they know. But if you know royal reporter or royal hack speak, if you're a squatty and don't know this, you have not been paying attention. But it was very funny to see. It was like, yeah, eventually they start telling on themselves. And obviously, as you can see, he's like, those desk-based journalists who just sit there churning out article after article have not checked any facts. So then they're like, yeah, reportedly, this is reportedly this, or it was reported, or it is claimed, or it is understood, or whatever they decide to put. Yeah, as Richard Palmer says, and as we've said over and over and over, it's because they don't know the facts. They don't know anything. And they have to write an article and they need to put something. So they put it is understood or reportedly to cover their tracks. So if they get sued, they could say, well, we didn't say it. We didn't say it was a fact, but it kind of sort of look like the facts. Unbelievable. But at least, it's good to see them telling on themselves. Maybe Richard Palmer is realizing all their lies and misinformation and all of that stuff is not sustainable, because as we've said before, their readership and viewership of their lies are going down and down and down. So they're realizing that in order to get a job, maybe I need to come clean and change. And especially with Byline Times there, and who knows, whatever Scobie's book, I don't know what it's going to have in there, but who knows? I know he's going to be talking about royal reporters. I think he said that there are going to be some chapters there about the press. So they know that stuff is coming out. So now they're like, trying to get ahead of the game and trying to get ahead of the narrative in a little way. So they can now say, look, I said this is what's happening. So it's not news if Scobie says it. But anyways, who knows? But anyways, it's good to see that at least they're starting to come clean. Wish somebody would go over there and tell Lianika, because she just continues to lie. And Camilla Tominey's a liar. They are just hopeless people, I guess. They're just going to continue to lie no matter what. So you always get lies from Lianika. Camilla Tominey's a liar. But anyway, I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you to our awesome moderators, Church Nelly, Karen M, Cookies and Cream, Lydia, Black Queen. You are awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to our wonderful 2 Cents crew who support the channel on a monthly basis, and our Go Slow supporters who support in the chat, super chats, super stickers, or you support via PayPal, Cash App. Thank you for supporting the channel. I'm going to put my banner there. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Click the notification bell so that way you know when we drop a video. Definitely, if you're able, join the channel. Thank you so much, all of you who have joined the channel. I appreciate you. And to all of you, can I just say, I'm so happy to have Church Nelly back. Church Nelly, I am so happy you're here. happy you are feeling better, praying that you will stay healthy and strong. But we're just happy to have you back. And to all of you who are under the weather, not feeling well, I'm sending you my love and prayers. And to all of our American squatties, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Have a great Turkey Day, whatever it is you're doing with your family, with your friends. I just wish you all the best. I love you all, and I shall see you all next time. Happy Thanksgiving to our faves as well. I love you guys. Bye.